My living situation was not what people fantasize about when they get ready to go off to college. The other Dave, however, had something a little more Hollywood. He lived in a house near campus with enough space converted into bedrooms to justify a visit from the fire marshal and an air that would not be out of place in an episode of Cops. Its occupants were a devil's brigade of ne'er-do-wells who referred to themselves quite plainly as Team House. Now, student houses are common in all college towns, but the difference here is that my town was pretty wealthy, and while it wanted money from the school, it didn't want all those pesky students getting together, clustering, making plans, doing college student things. So student houses such as these were technically illegal, or, discouraged. Really, all this meant was that no one at Team House had any incentive to give a shit about anything. And they didn't. Now, I am a tidy and particular fellow, and while movies and the human psyche have a way of romanticizing these chaotic slums as bastions of free thought, free love, and sticking it to the man, the truth is that while I love to visit this mental ward reality TV experiment come to life, living there would have felt like a wish come true as granted by a monkey's paw. But there's something all bunkers of rowdy students eventually do: throw a party. And with the school year nearly done, Team House was doing just that. I had still yet to witness a true college party and took their existence on hearsay, but I showed up fairly early while Dave was setting up his playlist, expecting a fairly low-key night myself. An hour later, I was dancing around in a Darth Vader mask to music I could not identify after having been interviewed by a man with a cactus. Troops of golems filtered out of a basement of suspicious design and indeterminate size. A tenant, affectionately named Warpig, stumbled drunkenly through phone cables and thumbtacks to retrieve personal pizzas. Bizarre rituals took place in the backyard. Somewhere, a couple was mating. Dave stole a trampoline, apparently. And the strangest of all, I was having fun. But then it happened. That thing we all knew had to happen. There was a knock at the door. So I walked to the door and I opened it up, and there they were. You knew who it was. That's right, the cops. "Do you live here?" he asked, clearly unimpressed by how much fun I was having. And I said in my sheltered suburban way, "No, I'll go get him." And I walked to Dave and I'm like, "Dude, the cops are here." And he's like, "Okay." And he walks to the front door and looks at the cop and shuts the door in his face. I could not believe it. I was like, "Dave, that was a cop." He's like, "I don't care. He can't come in unless we let him. I live here. Fuck him." I was like, holy shit, you can do that? It was like man discovering fire. Like I didn't know we had this power in us. And Dave went right back to partying. And I thought, that sounds like a good idea. And I went back too. This was the good shit. That wild merrymaking depicted in countless movies, TV shows, and hopeful fantasies. Those college parties of legend did exist, and I'd finally found one. Everyone was there. People I'd seen all year but could not name if I tried. And I was there. And they saw me. Me, out of school, at a party, being social, meeting people, not letting myself be shy and lonely in my room. But then some idiot let the cop in through the side door and he started yelling at people to leave. And Dave was like, "Well, I live here. I don't care, but he'll probably try to kick you out. So just say you're sleeping over." And I thought, holy shit, college parties aren't just fun. They're educational. You don't need drugs to get high. Just read up on what your parents and teachers lied to you about. It's a rush, like climbing Everest, but without losing all your fingers. Eventually, though, he was like, "Fuck this, let my roommates deal with it." So a bunch of us just left to get pizza. That was so nuts to me, like, "Oh no, there's a problem." "No, there isn't." "You have to deal with this." "No, I don't." It just blew me away. I was never much of a party guy, which was convenient because I wasn't popular enough to get invited to that many. But now I had a taste. I didn't need it all the time, but it felt good just knowing it wasn't a lie, that they were out there, that some of the good things you hear about in life are true, that there's good times happening, and sometimes you get to be a part of it. So enjoy them while you can, because you might forget they ever happened at all.